Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Let's Agree to Disagree. I'm Reyes from the Jeep community. Today we have Khaled from the Jeep community, Dan by himself, and Amer from Rami Automotive, aka the Professor. Today we're going to be talking about vehicle capability versus the driver. Can one survive without the other, or are they related? Or what is more important in terms of, having a good off-roading experience? The reason we're talking about that, personally, I had multiple cases where, let's say we're going into a drive and someone would come to me and is like, do you think I can drive with you today? It's like, why not? It's like, my vehicle is stuck. So is it capable to do what you guys are about to do? It's like, yes, because it's how you develop that language between you and your vehicle in order to make it perform the way that you want. These things can go into definitely other topics if you need more, but this is basically what we need to clarify on that topic, on how is it related and what is actually more important, let's say, in terms of whether it's the driver or the vehicle capability.
I think it's a very important topic that in almost any and every drive that I go to, or even if I'm just going to the desert to sit and camp, you always see cars that are stuck, cars that have 100,000 dirhams spent on them, cars that are basic, that are driving everywhere. It is, I think, a very important topic with a lot of drivers and a lot of what they think a car should be, or what modifications. Not being stock at all, that being stock is useless, or no, I'm not going to modify it at all. So I think it is it's a tricky one. Yep. Depends on a lot of factors.
I'd say it's if you're new, it's all about driver, getting more experience, more drives,
as much seat time as possible.
And then you reach a stage where, not that you wouldn't have modified by this point, but you reach a stage where you understand what a modification means. And when you reach a stage where, like, I can't really do this safely or properly without this modification. So it is driver for sure up until a certain point, and then it's vehicle. So
that's part of the development that you keep on growing into yourself. You learn the basics, you understand that what a driver can do. There are a lot of cases where you can see a guy that would invest a lot, and then he has a vehicle that he thinks that can conquer everything, and then the moment that he puts his foot on the pedal off-road, he just stays there, he breaks something, he does something, wrong action that can cause him to pay even more money to rectify whatever he did.
So this one called skill, but it's 50-50 between your car and between a car and a driver. You cannot be a driver without a modified car, and you cannot be that driver without the modified car. Like it's the same equation. It's 50-50. How we can put it? Like for me, for example, driving, for example, in a desert, my skills went up when I had a modified Jeep. But before that, I was not. Yeah,
but you modified
fun.
It. How long after you bought it?
Modified it?
Yeah.
Not that much, maybe less than 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you develop your skills much faster if you have a car which is capable of giving you an easy drive. So you're gonna have more
confidence.
Yeah, more confidence in your car, that your car can go there, can do that. But it's not a must. Like if you are not modified, you cannot drive. No, you can drive.
Yeah, but I think it's more in your case. Maybe the car gave you the confidence, but then again, if
there's the but then again,
being one.
So this is in your case because the car gave you the confidence in order to be able to drive better.
Yeah, but you already have the confidence, since you will not go driving off-roading if you don't have the confidence.
It's not a rule.
It's not a rule, but you need to know the basics of how to drive an off-road. It's not like driving on a road.
So it's not the car, it's the driver.
It's the driver.
It's 50-50. It's the driver and the car. It's 50-50.
No, I just
I disagree with that as well.
I disagree because, for example, if you take me and you put me in a stock vehicle, which has happened before, we're on a drive. There's a guy who came out just for a small gathering in the desert. It got dark, so we're all driving in the dark. And in the dark, without proper lights, a small dune seems like a huge dune. It's the fear of the unknown. What's behind it? It might be a big drop. So there was a point where he was like, I can't go any forward. He was panicking.
Yeah, he's really
Right?
panic.
So I swapped into his car, and someone else who was an experienced driver drove my car. And with that stock car, I did exactly the same line that everyone else could do.
Yes, this
Driver.
one. This is not a car. It's not.
Yes, this is driver.
He lacks he lacks the skills. In dark he can.
So it's more important to have a driver that doesn't panic, that knows how to drive, than to have the car. Because if I had put him in my car, he would have not been able to get out either. Because he didn't have the capability to do it.
But you didn't put him in your car.
Of course not, because I know he has no capability.
So, but you
same
cannot
Jeep
say.
will let someone else drive.
Yeah, but no. Yeah, yes, exactly. That's exactly. By the way, even the car what's the valet parking people. I hate to give them my car.
Horror stories, man.
So
Yeah,
I agree. So
but
in
you
your
didn't
example,
put him in your car, so you cannot conclude that.
But his car was modified.
no, it's stock.
Your car was modified.
No, but
Yes,
I mean,
of course.
But yes, he did an experience. Okay. He drove a stock car, right?
Yes.
And the guy didn't drive a modified car. So we cannot.
so you think that the moment that he gets into a modified car, he will get skills?
He is saying that if
No.
he gonna be in the modified car, he will drive much better.
No. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I know that as a driver, he doesn't have the skill
So
to get out.
even if he
So
gonna drive,
I drove his car. My point that I was
Yes.
proving is that it didn't. In this case, it didn't matter whether I was in my car or in a stock car. I can still do the route. I can still get out of the
because
desert.
you are skilled to drive.
Exactly.
No, but
Therefore,
in the same-
that's what I'm saying. In most cases, in small, like we're not saying go to Liwa and drive up the slip face in a stock car. We're not saying this. That's what I'm saying. Up to a certain level, it's the driver that matters.
Well, you're
If
saying
that
that
guy
you cannot
had,
drive in Liwa with a stock car?
No, you can.
Is this a challenge accepted moment?
okay, let me.
No.
You will not be able to follow me in Liwa with a stock car.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a challenge.
Sorry, wait.
Yeah,
come again.
October's coming soon.
See, but we lost the topic.
Look, no.
We're in, and actually, I like that this happened. There is one other side of the story, which is having that extra ego. And this is a case as well that I've seen a lot, where people they believe that they're too good, that whatever they drive or whatever they do, they can conquer anything, which is
over cocky is what I call it.
the worst attitude you could ever have on any terrain.
These type of people, like when they will get bored driving in the convoy, driving for beginners.
Forget about convoys or whatever. I'm talking about as a
example.
general concept. I mean, the moment that you decide that you're too good for nature, it will directly slap you in the face and show you who's boss.
Yeah.
That's when you go back on flat.
And I would say that whenever I have one of those drives where I'm trying to teach people on what to do and what not to do, a very important sentence that I always put in there is that, guys, do not lose confidence because you see someone else who says that he's better or he can do everything or he's the best driver in the world. Rest assured that whoever keeps saying that about himself, he's gonna fall and fall hard, and it's gonna be not nice at all.
I'll give you
the moment that you get over cocky, and I'm one of the people that had an incident where I mean we know the basics, so we know that to react this when this happened, react this and this happened. So it's like for us it's a natural reflex. But then again, I wasn't being cocky about it, but I had people with me that weren't feeling good. So I was driving slowly going out, and I was on a dune, and when I switched it, I tried to make a slow switch, which was a very stupid thing to do because I thought I'm too confident that I'll do it easily. So what happened is that when I did that, the sand from underneath killed my momentum. I started sliding to the side, and I ended up hitting bottom. And I felt my both tires in the air. At that moment,
that's it.
I finally realized, thank God I didn't flip or anything. it went back. I think I was heavier than them. but the point is that do not ever get
You cannot,
too cocky or think that you're too good,
you cannot beat
Yeah.
nature.
because it's in the end it's nature, and
Yes,
you're
you cannot.
just a person in a metal box.
Look,
So-
Yeah, so to bring it back to driver versus car, you're not saying you're better than the car. In this case, you're saying you're better than the terrain. You can conquer any terrain. Yes. I know experienced drivers who, I would have no doubt that they can follow anywhere. They're capable of being on that drive, and then suddenly a certain scenario will come up and they will panic, and suddenly it's like bam.
Yeah.
They on simple dunes they're getting stuck. On things that they should be able to do easily, they're getting stuck because they're overthinking it. Maybe they got stuck in a stupid place and now they're thinking, okay, let's not get stuck, and then they put too much power and they jump over the next dune and damage something.
Mhm.
So again, this is another thing where it's the driver. It's the more experience you have, you're able to understand your vehicle, and that's that transition point, is where you're kind of in tune with your vehicle so much that you know exactly what your tires are doing, you know what your suspension's doing, you know how your engine's performing, you know exactly the amount of speed you need to get over a certain dune. That's when there's a transition from the driver to the car, because then you'll realize that, to be honest, with this ring and pinion, I don't have the top speed to follow this guy and do a fast run on this dune. I should take it a bit easier and take it a bit lower at a higher torque and a lower speed, and I can still follow, but it will be a different technique.
So,
So that's the point where there's a switch, and I would say, for example, now I need to upgrade my ring and pinion so that I can get to that next level.
This is a classic thing. I've done a lot of racetrack before off-road, and I cannot begin to tell you how many times this happened. Someone shows up in a BMW M3, basic stock car, little brakes. We're talking, this is 10 years ago, and this guy showed up with a LP670 Lamborghini with just all the bells and whistles. 5 laps in, the guy in the Lamborghini cooked his brakes. Just cooking the brakes in a car like that is an achievement in itself. And the M3 continued, and the M3 overlapped the guy every time, main straight, Lamborghini flies, M3 sitting in the dust. And that just shows you that, okay, this guy has all the bells and whistles on his car, but yet he can't use
Doesn't
it.
know how to use it properly.
Yes.
But the guy in the M3 with 300 horsepower, more weight, no brakes in comparison, still managed to outlap the guy in the corners.
So it's a driver
When you put the driver that is capable
of
understanding his surroundings,
exactly, and his car and the limits of his car.
then it comes to the car. I know what I, for example.
Yes. So
Yeah, but it's the driver.
So
So the driver determines at this point I need more or need less, or that modification is
yes.
enough
So
or
it's
not enough.
it's a 50-50 between a driver and a car. You
It's
need to
still the
understand the
driver.
car.
It's
Because
still
again,
the driver that driver is 90% of the equation.
The
If
good
I put it in
driver
percentage,
had
and I will put it in 90% of the equation.
look, proper track school. Okay, there's a track school in the UK which teaches you how to drift. I know half the people that go there, and their cars, their practice cars, put down 600 wheel, and their pro cars put down 1200 wheel. It's a ridiculous amount of power. It's a car that cannot go in a straight line. The practice cars is a BMW 316 with 90 horsepower. 90. Torque, 0. It doesn't exist. It doesn't have torque. And they teach you have to maintain a slide in a car that makes practically 0 power. A washing machine makes more power than this thing. But you have to be able to maintain a slide.
We're not talking about FJ Cruisers today, please.
Oh, shots fired. They force you to become a better driver with the least capable car possible.
Yes.
And then they start.
Yes.
So the whole point is getting seat time and being a capable driver. Sorry. You can get out of the seat of a basic drift car into a pro drift car. The same we can get out of the driver's seat of a Toyota RAV4 and get into a completely built Rubicon.
Yeah. So
A good driver will do it.
so you are building the driver here he is building his skills.
You build the driver.
But the car that he is using is not the one he started with. He is now using a modified car.
They taught him on his.
Yes, the
On a
basics.
basic car.
On
Yeah.
No, not the basics. They taught him how to maximize his skill
Yes.
in a very
In any situation.
Exactly. So you
Exactly.
give him a fully prepped car on coilovers and double bypass and everything, or you give him a bone stock little SUV runaround, and he'll still be able to do as much as that car can provide.
The point is if you put that, let's say you're saying it's 50-50, right? So what you're getting at is that me as a driver, I'm developed enough that I made my car better because I needed that more. So that's why you're putting in the equation that the car is an effective factor
No.
in the equation. So that's why it's 50-50, is that
Yes.
when I get it to that level where it can pass that obstacle, which means it's because the car is helping in that.
Yeah, and your
But
skills
then
is helping
when you after you modify it to what you think is your optimum performance or what you need it to do, give it to a beginner driver, what will happen?
If he has no skills or a skills
Yes, so
that equals
it's the
your
drive.
skills.
Yes, it's
yes.
so you determine what kind of performance that it needs to reach because you are capable to do that. You are capable to have that sort of reflex
this-
or reaction to a certain situation or
Yeah,
language
but,
between
yes,
between
but
you
this
and the
new
vehicle.
driver
So
that you're gonna put him in this modified car, he will take less time to build up a skill.
I disagree
I
100%
strongly
with that.
disagree.
Yes.
I actually feel that if you put, and this happens a lot because people will see a very nice looking vehicle, they'll go and buy, Junaid, they'll go and buy a fully kitted out vehicle with no experience, and they'll think that this vehicle should be able to do this,
Yeah.
and actually it makes their life harder because they're learning with something that's over their capability.
Exactly.
They have too many things on the car that they're like, what do I do?
But if
And they actually get stuck more often because they have such a heavily modified vehicle.
yes, here is the point that he thinks that we're gonna go back to the ego thing. Like he thinks that he is skilled, but in a certain point he's not skilled yet to be
no,
able
he doesn't
to.
think.
No.
He thinks that
No
his
one
car
thinks
is
that-
capable
Yes.
and it
No,
doesn't
that-
need his skills.
Okay, once
That's
again,
the problem.
but the car will not teach him driving.
Exactly. So
Someone
it's the
should
driver.
So it's the driver.
teach him. Yes.
You're agreeing that it's the
No,
driver.
no, it's a combination between a driver and a car.
It's always a combination. They both exist in the equation.
That's why there is 10%
Yes.
for the car.
No, it's not
And
a
it's 90% the driver.
No, it's a 50%.
No,
No,
I
it's
think
not.
50 is
No,
way
it's a
too much.
50.
I think we can't put a percentage on it. That's why again
I would
say
still put 90.
Look,
Okay.
okay, so if you want to talk
No,
car,
I mean,
one second, if you want to
okay,
talk car,
okay.
you can get a car without lockers and a car with lockers.
Yes.
Clearly, the car with lockers has more capability.
Yes,
Right?
of
You're
course.
going to get to that slip phase where that's it. A certain combination of rocks where that's it. Two wheels
Yes.
are going to be in the air.
Yeah, that's
right?
the
That's a
10%.
limiting factor here.
Yeah, that's the 10%.
But also, someone who is very capable and knows how to read the terrain in front of him without lockers can do quite a bit until he reaches that
And
uncrossable.
that's the 90%.
I think
So
that's
yes.
what he's trying to achieve.
Yeah, that's the point. It's still, if you're not if you don't know how to read the terrain, to understand what's happening on your vehicle, on what's going on, whether it was modified or stock, the car is a secondary factor in order to have a good experience.
So what?
And there are cases where, I mean, which is, for me, it's part of the 10%, is that you wouldn't take a Yaris and go into the rocks and think that it's going to be the driver, because there are physics and dimensions and I mean, things that you cannot really go around.
So you are saying that the people spin all these spins is only on the 10%? So we are modifying the cars or the Jeeps only for the 10%?
Yes, of course.
To get the extra 10%?
Yes, because if the 90% is not there, it's the 10% is useless.
I'm with Khaled on this. It's not 10%. Like I said, we cannot put a number. You cannot say it's 10%, 20%, because how are you gonna measure it? You cannot say it's 10% car, because as you said, if you take a Yaris, it's not 10%. You will not even go.
Yeah, but you
1
can
meter.
take a Yaris on a different terrain and you can still be driving it.
No, but no,
Maybe
I'm
for
talking
Instagram
about
videos,
all
but they didn't show what happened at the end.
all
I
these
saw that
spins
firsthand
of
in Saudi.
modifications, and it's only 10%. That's what I mean. What I mean, you are saying about it's only 10%. Okay, why you would modify your car? Leave it stock and run with it.
Because that's the point where the 10% kicks in, where you need, let's say, more clearance
No, at
for
least-
an
at
obstacle.
least it's
So
given-
yes,
give it-
I think I see what Khaled is trying
Give
to
it
say.
more than 10%.
If a stock car is only capable of doing this much, and you have maxed out the capabilities of this car because you are a capable driver.
yes.
But that's it. You reach a point where this car cannot give you any more.
Yeah,
So
you
I
can-
believe
you
that
cannot-
10% that you're saying actually opens you into another level of this car. So
Exactly.
But
going
then again,
for-
no matter how much you modify, if the car goes back into the hand of someone who doesn't know what he's doing,
At this point, it's a
whatever
precision
percentage
tool.
you
At this
put on
point,
the
it's
car
a
will be
specific
zero.
use.
Because again, the driver is the main factor that affects what the car can do. It's not the car. It's the driver being able to understand its capabilities
and
making it do that.
Like,
taking
do
out
whatever.
the maximum.
So that's why
we're
it's
agreed.
the driver.
We're agreed on the. We're agreeing on the same thing.
Yeah.
Just not on the percentage.
Not a percent. The percentage
Just not on
is the
percentage.
issue.
Let's not take the extreme where it's a driver who knows nothing. Let's take let's both you and I, for example. You're great with rocks. I'm great with sand. I have never been on the rocks, right? So let's take sand as a medium.
Okay.
In a stock car, you and me in my modified car
Okay.
in Liwa, right? Are you saying it's only 10% of the obstacles, 10% of Liwa you will not be able to do?
Most probably yes.
Could you do a nice, long bull and then switch at the top of the crest in a stock car?
Most probably. Yeah.
Unlikely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
See,
Yes.
even the
but-
50-50 guy says.
Yes, he can. But the question is, are you gonna be able to go with this car to Liwa and come back with it?
That is the question, sir.
So
Will it make it back?
You're agreeing with me in this.
No,
Because
so-
probably he'll
money
go over
with
the
the
crest
Liwa.
and he'll get stuck.
but now,
Or he'll damage
now
something.
his 10% will kick in now that
Sorry,
the car
but-
is not modified, so it can go and come back to Liwa.
This is a factor, but then again, if you are a good driver, you can still do the obstacles,
Yes.
and you can still get back with it unbroken. I mean,
No,
it's
what-
part of you
the point-
understanding the vehicle is that we will do that. If we're talking about a modification where it's performance on something that physically, or in terms of physics, not physically, in terms of physics, it's not doable because you don't have that much power. This is understandable. That's where again the
If you have
10%
hydraulic
goes in.
bump stops versus standard. for
Yeah,
example.
so that's where the 10%. But if you're talking about a high switch that both vehicles, in terms of physics, can do it to have that enough momentum to go up and do the switch.
We're
Again, it's the driver. It's the driver.
we're
If
agreeing,
you
but
put
that's exactly
a
what
less
you just
skilled
said.
driver on the stock, he might be able to do it, but he will do it and break something. But the capable driver will do it and will drive home with it.
I've seen some drivers in Abu Dhabi and in Saudi where they have the same Land Cruiser for 20, 30 years. And this thing has crossed 500,000 kilometers a very long time ago. And yet, you look at them how they're driving on bone stock tires, shocks that are 20 years old, stock springs. The car has seen hell. And yet you look at them driving so calmly and so smoothly because of how experienced they are.
Yeah.
In a bone stock car,
We're
wherever
agreeing
you
on
want,
this point.
they reach.
We're agreeing on this point that it's the driver.
You should see my
I'm just
donkey
not
how
agreeing that it's
capable.
10%. I'm just not agreeing that it's 10%, and I would not put a number on it.
It's the driver. The
Up
10% is all of
Up
these
until a certain point.
tweaks that you need to add in order to add more capability in order to
You
do
mean-
something. But
so
it's
you
always
mean-
the driver.
Yes. So you
If
mean
you get the
let's
driver
take a
out of
different-
the equation, all of this
Let's-
modification is rubbish. It's nothing. It doesn't do anything except aesthetics. If you put the driver, it what brings it to life.
We're agreed on this point.
Yeah, but that's why
agreed.
it's still 10,
I think he's
90%.
talking about Teslas at this point.
Okay, so we'll disagree on the percentages,
Yes.
but we'll agree on that it's driver before
If you
car.
want to say disagree or you're wrong and I'm right, so it's up to you.
so at the end that there is a percentage. So the car is in the equation.
Yeah, 10%.
So it's
Yeah.
not fully. It's,
Yeah, but
so,
it's not 50-50.
yeah, I know it's not 50-50, but it's not
No, but
only
you said
that.
it's 50.
Yes, I know that you are saying it's not 50-50. I am saying it's 50-50. But you are saying that there is no driver without a car that can, which can produce for the driver the performance that he needs.
Not that he needs, no. There will be a point where the driver, even if he is fully capable of doing it, cannot do it, as you said, because of physics, cannot physically do it because of the car.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All I'm saying is that's not 10% of the scenario.
Okay.
He's saying it's 10%.
And then again, as I mentioned earlier, is that even if the driver has skills or knows what to do, but he still doesn't, again, read everything in a proper way. He has experience in doing many obstacles, but he doesn't have that sense of, am I doing too much or too less? Which means that I can do that switch with the modified car, but I can still break it. Again, this goes back to...
I'll tell you this.
So you have to have that balance. As a driver, you have to be capable, and the car serves you. It doesn't give you that everything.
So the example here is there was a driver with a very capable car, and he's new. And after it got a bit more advanced in the drive, he started losing skill, let's say it, and he was more afraid to drive. Got stuck in a very big bowl and couldn't get out. At that point, he radioed me, and that's it. I can't do it. So I get into the car, and I actually drive the car out without being pulled by anybody or winched or recovered or anything. And I show him what to do. Initially, I was trying to tell him on the radio. He didn't get it. He couldn't do it. Out of fear. Understandable. Perfectly understandable. Then I showed him how to do it on the car. The rest of the drive, he was someone else. When he saw that, oh, the car can actually do it, but I'm lacking as a driver. So then he started getting the idea of, okay, so they are staying on the throttle when they cross crests or in the bowl. To continue a slide, you have to mash the gas again. So he started seeing that, hey, the car can. So therefore, me as a driver, I should push myself. This is where the percentage is relative to how much practice and seat time you have. This car was bone stock, factory.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's about experience.
Please.
It's about experience. And that's why, like, a lot of people say, you know, when you're on a drive, they say, what can I do to improve? And you can't just tell
Improve your driving before the car.
What I was gonna say is,
you need to
how do you improve your driving? It's not like focus on this, focus on that. It's just drive more. Just go for more drives.
But
think
in
less
that
about
case,
go for
that case that
different
Amer was
drives.
explaining, I wouldn't say that it's about experience, because the guy is obviously not experienced. But it's about, and this is something that, and personally, when I, especially with those beginner drives, that I always try to play on, because this is where it makes a difference between getting these people to come back again or hate
building
the whole
confidence
experience.
or completely
It's building confidence. Exactly.
Yes.
It's all that, the key in that confidence.
Build confidence.
But it has to be, it has to be balanced. If you build it overly and it turned into ego, this is where it goes downhill. And as long as confidence is within the correct limits, it's understanding what you're doing, it's understanding yourself as a driver, understanding your vehicle as a language between you and it, then you will develop. So that's why what I do is that I start throwing obstacles, let them
see how they handle
it. By time, easily they will get confident and they will perform better.
This driver,
so that is working on a driver, no matter whether he bought it modified or he bought it stock or whatever brand it is, whatever. It's that.
I saw this happen quite a few times when someone in a stock car follows, like in a group, and he sees that this big Jeep on 35s and all the bells and whistles on it, and he's in a stock sport two-door with 16s and pizza cutter wheels, made the switch, but the 35-inch tire car just sitting there.
Yeah.
And then we have to recover him. Right, so that really helps building confidence, and vice versa when someone decides, hey, jumps it and bends an axle.
Yeah, the other guy there, he talks about the ego. So it's the ego thing.
Yeah,
that's why he did it. And the bigger is the ego, the bigger is the messed up. Like if you have a big ego,
they go hand in hand.
You're gonna go with a 5-4-3 rollout and then one flip. So yeah, this is your ego.
Indeed, it is. So I think it's very clear on one.
He was coaching.
I think the direction is very clear. Everyone else is wrong except I'm right. Except somewhere in that zone. No.
When we talk about ego,
Hello? Here is an example.
So Ray has a big ego,
in general,
and therefore he's wrong.
So generally, I believe we agreed with one disagreement. And
about the ego thing, maybe this is why the water came in.
How many Jeeps have you in now?
How many Jeeps?
How many engines?
In 1 year period of time.
2020 was not a good year.
2020.
I think it's time to close this.
It's a wrap.
He wrapped it like a long time ago, maybe, right?
No, we didn't wrap it yet.
No, he did.
This is what we cut, huh?
No. Nope.
No, it's okay. So we agree to disagree, as always. And thank you everyone for being here today. Khaled, would you like to close out for today?
Thank you everyone for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment.
And we.
I did.